Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I want to bring you guys a New Year's look. Can you guys believe it's already going to be 2018? Because I cannot. Like, seriously, I feel like 2017 just fucking flew by. Then again, I feel like that about every single freaking year that passes by. So 2018 is right around the corner, and by right around the corner I mean it's tomorrow. If you guys are watching this, then it's going to be today. But yeah, 2018 is already gonna be here, and we just gotta freaking leave the year by, you know, do 2017 with the fucking fab ass makeup look. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. So I'm gonna just go ahead and zoom through my brow process because, let's be honest, it's been the same for the past like 2 videos. So yeah, just enjoy the little zoom through of my brows. All I'm going to be doing now is grabbing a little bit more of that concealer and with my finger just blending everything into the lid and using it as a primer. So for today's shadow, I will be using a eyeshadow palette that I've been wanting for ever since it came out. It is the Kat Von D Saint Sinner palette, and it's this one right here. All I could say is it had so many beautiful colors. Like, for me, that I'm the person that loves to use color and loves to just get out of the typical brown looks, this palette seemed perfect for me. It was a bit more on the pricier side, and this is how it looks. It has 2 mirrors, but this is how it looks, and all I could say is I love it. Looking at all the colors, honestly, it's like right up my alley. Like, I would use all these fucking crazy ass colors on my lid and just do something freaking magical with it. But for today, I am gonna keep it a bit more neutral. And neutral in the way that it's not gonna be something like pink or purple, you know? I'm gonna stick to like the grays. This one's kind of more of like a gray with a bit of a, what does that look like? Purple undertone? But it still nevertheless looks great. Silver. So this one's gonna be more silver. This one's gonna be a bit more on that deeper side. So I might end up using both, and we shall see. Like I said, I never know exactly what it is that I'm doing. I just kind of like look at a color and then I'm like, all right, eventually I'll find the format of how I'm gonna do it on my eye. So for this one, I will be trying and using only these colors just to stick to this palette. Hopefully it has all the colors I need for this look. And yeah, without further ado, let's go straight into it. So for my first color, I will be going into this beautiful brown right here with a Morphe M441 brush. And this Morphe M441 brush is like the perfect transition brush because it's so fluffy and soft. So just grabbing a little bit of that color, placing it right into my crease. Simply using windshield wiper motion. And making sure I grab my brush at the end of the tip of the brush, because that way I feel like I could actually move my brush more freely rather than if you're very close, you're the one moving your hand as the way the brush is gonna go. So by holding it by the tip, it gives you more flexibility and making sure everything is just nice and blended out. And if you guys do catch me glimpsing down here, it's because I have my my monitor down here so I see if I'm in focus or not. Your girl is blind, so I need as close up as I can get. And first off the bat, I could already tell, like, I'm barely like going like this to it and I'm still tapping out my brush, and it has a lot of pigment. Like, it's, I mean, to be honest, the best shadows I personally have found are the Kat Von D shadows. Like I said, it is more on the pricier side, but so far, no complaints about this palette. Just the price. That's my only complaint. It's expensive. It's like around the 60s range, so for me, for an eyeshadow palette, that's pretty pricey. So the same for the next eye. All I'm doing is grabbing that same brush, applying the color, and I am gradually adding color just to make sure everything is nice and blended out. You don't want to get like a whole bunch of it and not tap it out and then just put it on your lid, because then that's where it's going to be the strongest, and to blend it out it's going to be a bit harder. So you might not have that like nice gradient effect So that's why I always recommend to just start off light and then work your way up on the pigment, especially since so far I really realized that these shadows are extremely pigmented. Blending, circular motions, going back and forth. So windshield wiper and circular while like in between every other stroke. You want to make sure you blend this to perfection because later on we will be going in with darker colors and you don't want it to look like blotchy, you know, like how the señoras just be grabbing one color and don't care and just like place it on their lid and they call it a day. You don't want to bust a señora move, okay? The next color we will be going into is, I would try and pronounce his name. Honest to God, I feel like I'm gonna slaughter all of the names. So, okay, so this one is Crucifix. This brown one right here. And I'm gonna go in with a Sigma Blending E25 brush and using that Crucifix color right here, dark brown. Dark chocolatey brown, I could describe it. Okay, so this one has a bit of fallout right off the bat. So let's see how the pigmentation of this one is. Grabbing Crucifix, tapping it out, and placing it directly in the outer corner of my eye. First to just intensify up that color. But I'm adding it and I'm also adding it in circular motions to make sure I do blend it out as I'm adding. And I will be adding it to the crease as well. So I could tell right off the bat that these are hella pigmented, and to be honest, I get so happy when I see a hella pigmented palette because I know for a fact that I'm gonna use it till I hit pan. Like there's some palettes that I'm just like, fuck, just because of the hype I got caught up and I purchased the palette and they suck ass, and it sucks because there goes your money to the trash, you know, and all because you got hyped up because everybody was like raving about it. And may I remind you, it's normally the most known beauty bloggers that rave and they get paid to promote, I guess you could say, the palette. So for us little people in YouTube, it sucks because sometimes you want to get really good products, and I also do freelance makeup. So for me to know that I'm wasting my hard-earned money on a palette that seriously sucks ass and it got super way too hyped up sucks. So this one so far I am loving. 2 colors down, and there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There is 26 colors in this palette, and so far the 2 that I have used have not disappointed me at all. The brown obviously has a bit more fallout, but that's okay. Going back in with that Morphe M441 brush and the first transition color we applied, and going back in and making sure everything is nice and blended out. I'm not going in with like an extreme amount of color, but I just want to make sure everything has like a very gradient effect and they just kind of like clash together. So that's all I'm doing. I'm just grabbing a little bit and making sure all of the edges are nice and blended out. And I am going more for a halo eye. So I will be applying more of that color of Crucifix on the inner and outer corner of my eye. And remember, you don't have to be specifically super clean about it because we will be going in with some concealer and clearing up the middle area that we want for our halo eye. I will be going in with a smaller Bdellium Tools 781 brush, and it's just a little brush like this. Oh my god, I'm gonna so slaughter this name. I'm not even gonna mention it. We're gonna go ahead and grab a bit of that black, and I'm only gonna grab it with the tip of the brush because it's what I will be using to further intensify the inner and outer corner. So I want to grab it only by the tip, just so I can make sure I place it directly in the inner corner and it doesn't go more outwards towards my eye, because that also is going to close in my eyes and make them look like they're closer together, and we don't want that. And just using patting motion, so I make sure I lay down that color and then I'll go ahead and blend it in. And these colors, you guys, are working so well together. Like, they're not giving me any type of problem to blend out, which is really, really good. You always want to look for that in eyeshadow. So far, I ain't mad about the 60 bucks. And you know what? I didn't even pay 60 bucks for it. That's just the actual price it has. But I didn't pay 60 bucks because I am a VIB Rouge member for Sephora. They did kind of like an annual, they give you like a, what is it called? Like a little certificate with like 10, 15, 20 bucks. So I am a VIB Rouge, so I got a $20 off. So it was really good. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just go ahead and use it on this palette because it's 60 bucks and I don't want to pay 60 bucks for it. But with all honesty, if I would have actually paid the 60 for it, I would have not minded it, because so far I am loving the way these pigments are coming out. And I haven't even added so much, and I could already tell that it is intense black. Like, I could tell this is gonna be my new fave black. It does have a bit of fallout, but it's nothing too that's gonna like hella annoy you or whatever. Oh my god, yes. It is so darn pigmented. I love it. Look at that. Woo! Yes, hunting. And if you do want to go ahead and blend that out a bit, I recommend using that same brown, which was Crucifix, with that same Sigma blending E25. And I'm just going to go ahead and add that towards the tip of where I added the black. Just so I can make sure everything is nice and blended out. So to carve out the middle of the halo of the eye, I will be going in with my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. And my color is Light Medium Honey. This is how it looks right here. And I'll be using one of my Kylie brushes. I have no clue because it doesn't have no name on it. So I'm just be using one of this little Kylie brush. It was one of her little synthetic brushes from, what was it, last year's holiday launch or whatever. So just grabbing a little bit of my Shape Tape. And the reason why I will be cleaning out the middle of the halo eye, I just want it to be very intensified, and I want a very clear canvas. I don't want to put the gray over the black because then it's going to look smudgy and it's not going to look clean. So the way of doing this is just grabbing a little synthetic flat brush and then applying and carving out the middle of the lid. And me personally, I like to go, like I said, normally above the lid because, or not the lid, but my crease, because once I look up, I don't want that crease of my eye to affect in any way, shape, or form the way I will be doing the outline of the lid for my halo eye. So basically that's what I have so far. And what I want to go ahead and do is make sure it stays not too far in and not too far out on the inner corner and outer corner. But I do bring it out just a tiny bit so I can go ahead and blend that out. And then just add a bit more of that black over that. Just to make sure everything doesn't look like it's just like, bam, just like one little puntito of the shadow. And now I'm just going and adding all over that area or under that area that I did my arch. And remember, like I said, it doesn't matter if you go a little bit over that black, because once you let it blend out and dry up, you could just go ahead and add more of that black. And you could remember also, you could go ahead and clean it out. The point of us doing this is to make it lighter so we have a clear canvas to apply the gray over. So you can go ahead and clean that throughout the process. So I will be going in with a smaller detailed liner brush, and this is one of the Angel Merino AC 6.3. I don't know, the numbers are already fading out on it, but I'm gonna just be using this just so I can make sure I perfect the arch of my halo eye. And you could even go in with your finger just to make sure everything's nice and set. So just patting it inward, making sure everything becomes nice and blended in. And like I said, you could go ahead and use your finger as well afterwards or before. I just find that that's the best way that works for me, so that's what I stick with. And once you see that both sides are now equally blended, you go ahead and do that same process on the other eye. So for the halo color, I will be going in with a bit of Heaven and Cathedral. Cathedral is going to be the darker one, and Heaven is going to be the lighter silver one. So to apply those both colors, I will be going in with my little shader brush, and this is a little MAC little shader brush and a Real Techniques, yeah, it's another little shading brush. So I will be using this one for Heaven and this one for Cathedral. I will be placing Cathedral with my little MAC shader brush, this one right here, and I will be placing this Cathedral color all on the outskirts of where the concealer and that black shadow met. That's where exactly I will be placing the Cathedral. But before I do that, I will be going in again with my little shader brush and a little bit of that black just to intensify that color out a bit more. So now taking the shader brush and going in with Cathedral. Ooh, this is pretty. And just placing that. Ooh, that's nice. So we're basically just doing kind of like a sandwich effect. am realizing now that Cathedral has loose specks of glitter, so that is causing it to be a little bit messier, but it's okay. So now grabbing that Real Techniques shader brush and grabbing Heaven, placing it right in the middle. So to further intensify that Heaven and Cathedral, I will be grabbing a little bit of my NYX Dewy Finish Setting Spray, and I will be spraying just like 2 spritz, just so I could go ahead and wet that brush. And since it is a synthetic brush, grabbing a little bit more of that shadow, it is going to intensify it, and also it's going to help it stick onto the lid. Y'all see that? So with a more precise brush, and this is a little lip brush, but I like to use it for like very precise things on my lid, I will be using a bit more of that setting spray, as well as trying to get that top line cleaned out. And just to further intensify it, I will be using my beloved Urban Decay glitter, heavy metal glitters, and they look like this. And they have their little applicator as well. And I'll be using this over Heaven, just a little bit, just to further intensify it. These are like one of my favorite glitters to ever use because they're not messy at all. Oh my god, this is one of my favorite eyeliners besides the Inglot 77 eye gel liner, but this one is the NYC liquid eyeliner, and I think it was discontinued because I haven't seen it at Target, where that's where I would normally buy it at. And it was like the blackest black liquid eyeliner, and it doesn't leave back like that shining residue after it dries up, but I can't find it anymore, so I think it is discontinued, unfortunately. But this is the NYC liquid liner. You see how the tip is so sharp to just use, and just, oh my god, it's the best. And now all I'm gonna do is finish up my face, and I'll be right back. So now that I'm done with my face, I will be moving on to my eyes and my lips. So for my under eye, I will be going in with that Kat Von D palette again and a Morphe M3221 brush. And I will be grabbing the first color, which was the brown color, this one right here, and placing it under my lash line. And then with the little e.l.f. professional eyeliner brush, it's just a little flat brush like this, I will be going in with that black and further intensifying the lash line. So for lashes, I will be using one of my favorites, and it is the Cocoa Lashes in Style Goddess. They look like this. Style Goddess. And what I love most about these lashes is that they have that like really pretty flared out effect. I just feel like it makes the eye open up more, look flirtier, so that's what we're gonna go in with. Yes, you see how much is the difference that it makes, like seeing the lash on already. It just wings everything out. It makes it so flirty and cute. Let's go apply lash number 2. And for my lip combo, I will be using both Dose of Colors lippies, and this one is in Truffle and this one is in Sand. So Truffle and Sand. And I will be applying Truffle first on the outer rim of it, of my lip, and then I'll be applying Sand in the middle. and just putting a tiny bit of sand in the middle.